Hey there, today I'm here with the first fictionalized Honda coming to Greenville, which is the 2006 Honda Pilot, or the Shizuoka Chief. And yes, the fictional brand name is no longer a legend since a legend is a real Honda model name. Anyways, these pilots have the same driving characteristics, so I'll do a full review on one trim and show you the other trim's cosmetic differences, sounds, and lighting. Anyway, here's the Chief's straight line acceleration. Acceleration is pretty much the exact same as the Elite across all trims besides the Sport, which has a power increase of 15 horsepower. Anyways, now let's see how the Pilot handles. Like most crossovers from this era, handling is not the best. It is unstable and unpredictable at times, and steering is not responsive, so whoever tuned this nailed that perfectly. Handling in the snow is unsurprisingly not the best either. It's still controllable, but it isn't too hard to lose control, and steering remains fairly unresponsive. Moving on to maneuverability, the Pilot is pretty easy to maneuver for what it is. It has a fairly narrow turning radius for its class. Braking is on instant mode, unlike how I usually have it, but even considering that, the Pilot has responsive braking for what it is. Anyways, here is sounds and lighting, and afterwards I go over the cosmetic differences between the trims. Anyways, let me quickly mute the music and show you guys how it sounds. It doesn't have sounds for some reason, so let me hop in another one. So first up, let's talk about the design. Now, I personally think Bluezillaa did a great job, and I honestly prefer it over the real Pilot. There are definitely a wide array of possible design influences from maybe the old X-Trail and definitely the first generation Sequoia from the rear, but it overall looks kind of Americanized. It's a little pointless to pinpoint influences though, since it's such an original design with its own unique brand identity, and if it's any indication of what future Hondas will look like, I'm pretty excited. Anyways, let me go over the cosmetic differences of the trims. Now, this cream one here is the base model, which is a pretty good value for $5,000. Compared to the other trims, it has no fog lights at all, and if you look over here, it is the only trim with this black plastic side trim. It also is missing the roof rails, and it is the only trim with standard black rims. Coming around the back here, you can also see that the two lower trims have different taillights. And coming under the car, I wanted to point out the level of detail. I mean, look at this. It's not actually functional, but I appreciate the detail. Anyway, moving on to the premium here, there are some noticeable upgrades to the cosmetics, and instead of the black plastic trim, it's actually body colored on this, and of course you get the roof rails. This trim is also the cheapest one with the fog lights, and I'll show you guys them later. Moving on to the sport trim, it has a body colored grille as well as these body color trim pieces throughout, and it also has a sunroof. Now, moving back here, it does have the different taillights, which are those one clear taillights that were pretty common in this era. There is actually body color trim all over this thing, and looking over at the orange Elite trim, it has this chrome trim all around it as well, which looks extremely nice. It is also the only trim with partial chrome roof rails, and even the door handles are chrome. It even has a visor on the sunroof, which is really neat. And one thing I missed are these cool side indicators that are on the A-pillar. This is a really neat way to integrate them, but the base trim does not have them at all. The Pilot doesn't have AEB, so now it's time for me to give it a FRIZZ score, display its stats, and I'll tell you which one you should buy when it comes out. And the FRIZZ scores are here, slightly above average for their prices, which every trim is a good value and you can't go wrong with any of them. However, the base trim is the best value at only $5,000, despite it sharing the same tune with the top trim. Overall though, I think the Sport trim is the best option. They're extremely well-made cars, and if you're into crossovers or you just want a cheap normal car for a daily or for a roleplay server, this is one of the best options right now. That's all for today's video, so thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you Hunter and Doggon for allowing me to review this car. I really appreciate it. Anyways, the car I'm reviewing next is the 2005 Subaru Forester SDI directly behind me, and as always, please feel free to leave me a video suggestion. I will hopefully see you guys very soon. Later!